Okay. Well, after you completed your 2 years at St. Joseph's, you finished your studies in Rome at the Pontifical North American College. Um,
That's correct.
what were some of the things uh, that you liked and disliked about the Italian culture?
Okay. Well, there are plenty things to like and dislike about the Italian culture, and it's really neat, I guess, to have that 4 years in a different culture because it helps you to appreciate your own culture that you come from, and also see kind of certain, your initial reaction to the Italian culture, at least to me, was they do everything wrong here, and why don't they do things the right way? Because what I knew was the right way, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after living there long enough, there's a lot I really appreciated. I mean, one of the things offhand that I really appreciate about the Italian culture is their appreciation for kind of the good things in life, just family and food. And I mean, you can go out to a meal there. One of my last meals, I left the house at noon to go have lunch and came home at 6:30.
Wow.
And that's all I did was eat a meal. But it was just perfect. You sit outside, beautiful day, eat food,
Right.
drink wine, relax, just get to, visit. And so kind of that social element that isn't so driven, work-oriented, I came to really appreciate. That. On that same token, something I don't appreciate is trying to take care of things because they don't have the same focus. They're not as driven the way we are to take care of tasks, that it would be frustrating sometimes you think you need to go mail something at the post office. And so you go to the post office and you're waiting. It's like the DMV. You're waiting 2 hours in line with the ticket, and you get to the end of the line and the person says, "Oh, well, it's lunch break now, so sorry, I can't help you." And it's, no big deal to them. They just go and have their
Right.
lunch break. Or one time waiting to get, like, essentially my green card. It's called a permesso di soggiorno, but permission to stay or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And waiting in there, and it's the same thing, this bureaucracy, and nobody's really working. And all of a sudden, somebody comes in and turns off the lights. Like, see them turn the light switch. And then the people at the front desk say, "Oh, the electricity's out. We can't do any more work today." So everyone just sits there, and they bring in coffee, and, all the workers are having a little powwow and enjoying each other's company. And about an hour goes by, and then they turn the lights back on, flip the light switch, and say, "Oh, the power's back. All right." And then they get back to work. So their ability to appreciate life and not feel the pressure, I guess, maybe we feel to succeed and excel is what I love about them, and it's also what I hate about them.
Okay.
So that's the way it is,
Okay. What was the approach in Rome at the North American College? Was that any different than, say, the approach that University of South Alabama had in the U.S.?
Definitely. I lived at the North American College. I actually studied at a university in the city called the Gregorian University.
Okay.
And it's a very different system, I guess, than the American system. I mean, just initially, I guess some high key differences is it's all one big lecture hall. It's almost like 5th grade or something, elementary school, where the teachers rotate to you. So you stay in the same room, and teachers come to you. A bell rings. It's very funny to us, I think. And there's maybe 300 people from all over the world in this one class. It's by year, so first year, second year, third year, whatever's all in the same classes together. And so the dynamic in the classroom is entirely just lecture. There's not much dialogue or concern necessarily to make it dynamic and get the class involved.
Mm-hmm.
So that was difficult at first. But what's also different is you don't write any papers, you don't take any tests till the very end of the course. So at the end of the semester, you sit down with your professor for about a 10 to 15 minute oral exam. And so each professor you meet at a certain time, and that's how your exams are administered.
Wow.
So you get a good, I'd say, a wider grasp of material,
Mm-hmm.
because your breadth is so much broader what you study, but you don't get the same, I guess, intellectual tools for articulating arguments and writing papers. And so the Americans there at the university would always do very, very well when you would have to write a paper every so often, because we had the research tools and everything. We knew how to write a paper. They had never written any kind of paper, so they didn't have the tools to even know how to write, how to do research, or how you want to structure an argument written. You know, they're very good orally, but when it came to written arguments, we were much more prepared from the American system.
Okay. So you've been in school or you were in school until this past spring for, I think we said earlier, 22 straight years. What, in your opinion, are some of the things that work in your education, and some of the things that you liked and you thought were beneficial to you, and maybe some of the things that you thought were a waste of your time or were not effective?
Yeah, I mean, I guess every student's different, and I know what works for me is, or what I found that works for me is professors that really, I guess, engage the students and bring material to like concrete level, you know, like bring it to this world. And it's not, I mean, it's important to have the theory in the background, but eventually to arrive at reality that we live day to day. And I always found the professors that could, in any course, math, science, philosophy, religion, all the courses, whichever professors could make it tangible to the world we live in today, I always, I guess, their style resonated with me. And also the ones that call you to draw on your own experience, you know, and use your mind, your experiences to make judgments about, you know, does this seem congruent with your experience from reality or not? And so those, I guess I always found that to be very important. And on a side note, I always enjoyed the professors that could, lots of times that could kind of go off on a tangent every so often just to say something interesting or different, to give your mind a break from whatever the course was. So I always appreciated that about professors that would just bring up something ridiculous,
a good story,
give you a break, and then get back to the difficult material.
Okay. Well, thank you, Father Jimmy, for our interview time. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
All right.
Bye.
You do the same. Bye-bye.